Welcome back, everybody, to Firearms Commentaries of Resident Evil Chris Rebirth. And to start things off, boom! Headshot! Now let's proceed to the attic, where we will face our adversary who stole the life of one of our dearest comrades, who we knew for the all of 2 minutes. Let's get this underway. Oh, jeez. It's a big-ass snake. Okay, seriously, who the hell would be brave enough to fight this thing? That thing looks fucking menacing. Not to mention, it's huge. Whatever, we're gonna use my corner trick. This always seems to work in this fight. Oh, this is going rather well, isn't it? And it's already over. Wow. Normally this fight takes much longer, but that was pretty quick. And it even hasn't been the first minute of the video. We've already beaten Yawn, and just for good measure, I gave him a good knife strike right in the ass. For Richard! But yeah, for our reward, we get 7 new shotgun shells. Basically, the ammo I expended on him plus 2. That's a nice reward. Right, so we have the last crest, and I gotta go grab the other crest, and we can leave this place. Richard from Bravo team. Why are you examining his crotch? It's not Richard, I believe. Whatever the case is, we are actually about to head out of the mansion finally. Oh, goody. It only took 4 episodes. However, there is still one more puzzle we have to do, but it's on the way, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And while I'm going through my inventory in the box, which is going to take a little bit of a while, I'll go ahead and discuss and recap what we've discovered so far. So yeah, so far we have 3 confirmed deaths, possibly 4 if we were to include Barry, but that's not confirmed. Basically, we have Kenneth, who was killed by a zombie, which is pretty lame. We have Forrest, who was killed by crows, which is pretty obvious considering he's a sniper who brought a grenade launcher and he fought crows on a balcony. So I guess that one is somewhat likely. Oh look, surprise! Knife fight! And of course you have to fight crows of all things. Well yeah, going on about what I was saying. And of course there's Richard, who I think has the most reasonable death because he was bitten by a big-ass snake. And I doubt CPR is really going to cure you of poison from a big snake that has T-virus in it. So yeah, that's about it really. I'm not really sure if there's any other team members we'll discover dead. Probably like maybe 1 or 2. So yeah, back to the video for a little bit. This puzzle, pretty easy stuff. If you have any general idea of how life proceeds from youngest to oldest and you understand terms like infant, this puzzle is pretty piss easy. Then again, I've already mentioned before, Resident Evil puzzles aren't really about difficulty or really big mind-bogglers. They're just guilty pleasures because, I don't know, there's just something about them that's amusing to solve, even though they're real easy. And we push this switch, and for some reason there's some kind of mechanism that can deter that you've pressed the other switches in the correct order, and we achieve the star crest. Beautiful. Of course, you all know what would happen if you got it wrong, right? I mean, those crows aren't just there for decoration, like they were in Resident Evil 0.5. And right, this reward wasn't really too great either. Moving on. Oops. I'm sorry, you walked right into my barrel. I just had to give you pleasure for it. Right. Ooh, look, a crow. Of all things. Right. With all threats eliminated, we can go ahead and shove those bad boys into the wall right here. Sweet. Another time waster. Alright, let me level with you guys for a second. I've always wondered, personally, what makes Resident Evil games so amusing to play? I mean, people have complained about the camera angles and the tank-like controls and the bad voice acting and the campy writing and sometimes the graphics, but we all know graphic horrors are kind of lame because, well, they think graphics make a video game, which it doesn't. Gameplay makes a video game. I mean, that's pretty fucking obvious. Everything else is secondary. The thing about Resident Evil is that it may not have had the best writing, and the voice acting may have been terribly laughable, but the music in the classic games and the controls kind of sold the whole point. I mean, the gameplay caters around this whole survival aspect, even if it gets real easy later on when you've played the game enough. Which is pretty interesting, to say the least. Even when you play the game enough, the gameplay's still amusing. Which is really odd. Because you think about it, when you think of a clunky control scheme, you don't really think about the game being that great to play over and over again. I guess it could be down to wanting to speedrun the game. But I guess it's all up to your personal taste. I mean, some people prefer the classic Resident Evils, some people prefer the newer Resident Evils. I kind of prefer the classics, but I don't have much more of a quarrel over the newer Resident Evils because I liked Resident Evil 4 and 5. Well, I mean, not too much 5, but I had a lot of fun playing it. I remember wasting my entire winter vacation playing Resident Evil 5, so it definitely is fun. But something keeps making me come back to these older Resident Evils. Maybe it just has to do with strategy at times. Planning your route, planning how you use your items, so that you don't have to go to the item box a lot, and you can get through areas more or less quickly, having the right item on hand, or basically being able to dodge correctly and have a routine down for dealing with certain enemies. The point being is that everything in the older Resident Evils, what gives it an edge over the newer ones like Resident Evil 4, 5, Operation Raccoon City, is that everything it has complements its style. The camera angles, the ability to be able to dodge and run away from enemies rather than having to fight them. You know, just a few other options that kind of expand the gameplay somewhat. It all complements the survival horror feel. Resident Evil 4, although it was a good game, it was all about killing enemies, and you know that for a fact. It was fun, I guess, but that was really what it came down to. You couldn't proceed, more or less, unless you killed enemies, although you could avoid them, but what would be the fun in that? In a game that makes shooting, like, really fun. But yeah. Back to the game. I always forget that zombie's there. Maybe not this time, because I finally got in my head that the zombie's there in Rebirth mode, but he always gets me. But it's all good. Wait a minute. You guys hear that? I hear flopping. Wait. What? What? What the hell is a shark doing here? Well now. Very eccentric indeed. And the dog gets me. Oh, grand. This is going to end well, because guess what? Guess what? They have a crow in here! Oh, Lord. Fucking crows. I hate crows, man. I hate them. And that pretty much screwed me over for this last section right here. Oops, looks like all the dogs are after me now. Well, with that, I guess this episode's over with, so I'll see you next episode, guys. Sign on.